Thank you. I'm here. Thank you. Alrighty. Alright, settle down, settle down. Settle down! Alright. Hello everyone, how are we doing today? This is my 1984 analysis created by yours truly. And let's just jump right into it. So, first thing we will be talking about is telescreens versus reality. So, the telescreens in 1984 are literally just TVs, okay? And what they do is they play propaganda all the time for the party, you know, Big Brother always watching and talking about the war with Oceania and East Asia and whatnot. So what we don't find out until later into the book is that these telescreens don't just act as propaganda machines, but are actually listening devices that the party uses to spy on people. Now, this isn't really fiction in our world. This is kind of a real thing. Our phones do listen to us, and if you think that's untrue, then there's something wrong with you. But they always will listen, and they'll play ads for you that match up with some of the things that you're searching and talking about, you know, really weird stuff like that. But yeah, it's not so much fiction as you guys believe. So, next up is the party's propaganda versus reality. So, in 1984, there's a lot of propaganda, like a lot of propaganda. They have so much propaganda and they gaslight you so hard that you believe that freedom is slavery and war is peace. That's how much propaganda there is. As you can see here, you know, they talk about how fighting is like the ultimate truth, and you know, they have propaganda literally everywhere. But one of the things that lines up with reality is our propaganda as well. I hate to get political, but we have to. So we'll just take World War II for example. Nazi Germany, a lot of propaganda there too. So Adolf Hitler was in a lot of those posters, a lot of them helping out kids and, you know, being this nice, kind guy, when in reality, you know, he kind of wasn't. Not really. This right here, this is an old one that was floating around for a little bit. It's from America. It was accusing Obama of being a communist, and there's a lot of stuff like that nowadays. But yeah, that's just some of the, you know, kind of some of the stuff that we push out as well. But anyways, next up, newspeak versus real life. So. In 1984, they speak a language called Newspeak, which is basically just like English, except kind of censored. So, like, they'll change some of the words. So, like, dead will be unalive, or hate will be like ungood, something like that. Just shortening words and kind of condensing the vocabulary to have a more controlled environment of language. It's actually kind of interesting. Now, present day, we do have words that aren't meant to be said in conversation, mostly like derogatory terms and stuff like that. So nothing like super serious. It's when words become punishable, like certain things you can't say, that it'll get you in trouble, like with the law. That's when you got to start worrying. But next up is manufactured enemies versus real life. So in the world of 1984, it takes place in the continent or country of Oceania, sorry. And they are always constantly at war with Eurasia, which is another country that, like, you know, is full of a bunch of free people, and you know, they're like the bad guys of the party. So we are led to believe that Eurasia is always getting dominated by the party, and you know, they're always getting washed, and the party always like props them up and being like, yeah, we did it, we crushed the Eurasian armies again, over and over and over again. However, it is most likely that Eurasia doesn't even exist, and the party is not at war with anyone, and that it's actually just used as like another propaganda tool to make the party look like they're this immovable and unstoppable force. when in reality they don't even like mess with other people because they suck. But a real world kind of thing, we don't really have like a fake enemy. In World War II, the Nazis accused like the Jews of being bad guys and whatnot, and so they kind of they kind of went all out on them for a bit. But a big real example that could have been is that JFK during the Cold War actually almost initiated a false flag operation and was planning to bomb America and then pin the blame on Cuba so that we could have an excuse to go and attack Cuba. So they kind of like set other people to look like the enemy, even though they were technically the enemy, but they weren't striking at us. But anyways, next up, Big Brother versus real life. So Big Brother in 1984 is the kind of figurehead of the party. He's everywhere. As you can see in this image, it's kind of faded, but you can see like every house would have, you know, Big Brother is always watching you and stuff like that. He was literally everywhere. And he was used as kind of like this tool to make everyone seem like the party was always there. The party was always watching. The party was always listening. Whatever you do, they would know. And they just plaster him everywhere so you wouldn't feel safe wherever you went. A real world example of this could be Joseph Stalin. So Stalin also used a lot of this kind of like figurehead propaganda stuff, and he put his face on everything, making it seem like the Soviets knew what you were doing. The Soviets have the best spyware, the best everything, and they knew what you were doing at all times. Another like figurehead, I wouldn't say this is like a bad figurehead, is Uncle Sam. The "I want you to join the U.S. military" thing, that was everywhere during some of the wars, and it got people to join the army. So it kind of gave the American people the spirit to believe like, hey, we got this. Uncle Sam wants us to do this. We're gonna do this. So that's about it for that one. Next up, George Orwell and the Early Warning. So George Orwell created 1984, the book, as kind of a depiction of what a world without freedom would look like. A world where freedom was defined as slavery to some. And he got this idea from World War II. It was if the Nazis won. So this is kind of like a what-if book. And actually, this book was banned for a little bit because of how like scary it was to some of the people who bought it. And it was just kind of like too real. Like it painted a reality that could be there. And you know, I think we should look at this book, and you know, we shouldn't fear it. We should actually take it into account and be like, hey, you know, we should study the world and see like, could this one decision potentially lead down this road that could destroy lives forever? I mean, for George Orwell, it was winning one war that turned all of 1984 into his own reality. So, just, we gotta be careful. Always pay attention to stuff. Anyways, so, that is going to be it, everyone. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Even turn it off. Even. Well, press the button. Turn it off! What do I pay you for? Oh my god!